Kellie and
Hello.
Kimbra here. Kellie and Kimbra are in the moment. Today, we are going to talk about celebrities and love and marriage and divorce.
Love and marriage.
Yeah. So, we've had relationships, and we were talking earlier today, questioning sometimes why people even get married, why they bother getting married. And then the subject came up of all the celebrities that have had multiple marriage. And, I know from my experience getting divorced, is really a messy thing to get out of, even if you have mutual respect for each other. It's just messy. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So anyways, we were just talking about people, celebrities who've been married multiple times.
Well, like I was going to bring up, first of all, Nicolas Cage. Is it number 5 or number 6 for him? Nicolas Cage?
I don't know. He's really had a rough go of it. I remember when I was working at William Morris, he was dating Christina something. One of our clients, he was dating her. And
if you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
And I remember, I don't think he married her though. I'm not sure, but they had a kid together. So I don't know. He maybe is a hopeless romantic because he's been married. Are you looking it up? Are you going to check it up?
I'm looking it up. Yeah.
You're gonna be our fact.
I'm the fact checker because I want to quote it right.
Yeah, because I don't know how many times he's been married, but I know a lot of times, and I know he's had financial troubles. And so one of the things about getting married is you're financially tied to that person. And if you have a lot to lose, then you sometimes lose a lot when you get married and get a divorce. So that's one reason to be cautious about.
Well, it says he's been married 5 times, and I don't think he married that Christina.
He didn't marry her.
Yeah. But they had a child together.
Remember her last name, Kristen, or
was it Haas or something? Haas?
I don't remember. I just remember, her talking about him being, her dating him. She was dating him. There were a couple of our clients at the time. We would get frustrated because they were more wrapped up in their boyfriend. The other one was she ended up marrying David Hasselhoff, and I forget her name. Pamela Bach.
I want to tell you something about Nicolas Cage. It's interesting though, because he was married to Patricia Arquette. Patricia Arquette. And they had a child. I think his name was Enzo. And anyway, my friend Mauro Borelli. Hello, Mauro. I'll have to send this to you. But he's a really great artist. And he did a portrait of their child, a really, really nice portrait. And he, I don't know if he gifted it to him or whatever, but Nicholas had asked him to do this portrait of his child, Enzo, and it came out really, really nice. Mauro is a really good director and artist, but he showed it to me before he gave it to him, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
a little side gossip.
I forgot that they were married. So Nicolas Cage and Patricia Arquette,
right?
And then who are the other people he married?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So he was married to.
Did he marry a waitress at one point?
Waitress or something. Oh, so Patricia Arquette, Lisa Marie Presley, Alice Kim, Erica Koki, and Rico Shibata. That's his latest.
I forgot about Lisa Marie Presley.
That's
she was married to him, and then Michael Jackson, which is
that's a bizarre marriage. I mean, interesting marriage.
The one that Danny, whatever, the one she had the kids with.
Danny Coe.
Okay. And then one of their sons just committed suicide.
He was so gorgeous too. He looked like Elvis.
I know, he looked like Elvis. Oh, it was so sad.
That is so sad. Heartbreaking.
Money doesn't buy happiness. It just doesn't. You gotta have your soul fulfilled. That's a
whole other story. But yeah, I know. Lisa Marie Presley, that's another one I just thought of that's at a lot of marriages.
Yeah, well, so that's what I was saying. She was married to Nicolas Cage, Michael Jackson, Danny Keough, and then the one now that she's been battling for custody of.
He's a musician.
Twins, him, and so she's tried it several times. Sometimes we have to start thinking, maybe we're not cut out for this.
Yeah, because you and I were talking about this. It's like to me, I feel like if you've been married at least 3 times, maybe even 2, and ended in divorce, I would think to myself, maybe maybe I'm not cut out for marriage.
Yeah,
but I know people must be hopeless romantics because they keep wanting to do it again.
There's
right?
another way to look at it.
Uh-huh.
It is, and I always felt this way about relationships. Every relationship is a lifetime with that person. You learn new things, the things they have interest in, you learn about, and you have an experience with someone. And so maybe, maybe they're willing to invest that kind of emotional commitment. And but the divorce is the hard
But
part. That's
can't
the
you
part.
invest that emotional commitment without getting married? Because that makes it a whole business thing, because that's
Yeah,
really what marriage is.
you're right. I agree. That's why I've had more relationships than marriages.
Well, that's a good thing,
Yeah.
I guess. But what cracks me up, getting up back onto the celebrity marriages, the one thing I always find so funny is when people have divorced and then get married back again with the same person. I think
And who are you thinking of? Who are you
well, I
thinking
think
of?
wasn't it Melanie Griffith did that with
With
Don
Don
Johnson?
Johnson.
Didn't he
Yeah,
get?
I think
Didn't they get
so.
married?
I think
I'll have to look
so.
that up. I'll look it up while you're
And
talking.
Pamela Anderson married that Rick
Yes,
Sullivan twice.
and
And
then there's an
she
old time. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, Pamela Anderson's married to her sixth marriage. And if you include the one that she married twice to Rick Solomon, I have a little note written here. She was married to Tommy Lee, then
Mhm.
Kid Rock, then she married Rick Solomon, divorced. I guess they got an annulment the first one. Then they got married again years later.
Mhm.
And she married John Peters, and then she's saying it wasn't a real marriage, but it was like
Oh
a couple
yeah,
of weeks.
that was a weird thing.
Yeah, that was a real quick thing. And then now she's married to her bodyguard, one of her bodyguards.
Oh wait,
So,
wasn't she? You're talking about Pamela Anderson?
mhm.
Wasn't she? She was not married, but she had a boyfriend in somewhere like.
Yeah, she lived in France for a
Yeah,
while, and he was like
he was a soccer player or something, right? I just looked it up. Yeah, Melanie Griffith was married to Don Johnson twice,
Nice.
and I just want to say I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's just funny to me. It's like, you obviously like getting married, when you do that.
Well, the wedding is fun. The
Yeah, that's
party,
true. That's true.
the one-time party is a really great thing.
Right. The party.
So yeah, I don't know.
And then there's those older celebrities that have, passed away, but Elizabeth Taylor, she was married to Richard Burton twice.
Yeah.
And I could see
many other men.
Oh God. Yeah.
She had a lot of married
My aunt idolized Elizabeth Taylor. Women of a certain time period always loved Elizabeth Taylor. She was like, gosh, who would you compare her to now? Maybe Angelina Jolie or something, but my aunt loved her, and she would always so I knew a little bit about her, but I read some things with her, and she was saying, in my day, if you slept with somebody, you would marry them. So that's why that she always got married, But nowadays,
I don't judge anyone for, to each his own. We all have to do what feels right for us. And if somebody really wants that kind of legal commitment to whatever, cement or establish their love, then that's, I'm not judging it. I just, like you say, I find it amusing because my one little divorce was so awful that I wouldn't want to go through it again. Well, we said awful things to each other, and there were, just some terrible things that went on when I left him that he made up for it later and apologized and everything. And we are totally friends now, many, many years later, but it was just awful. I wouldn't want, not enough to get married.
That's interesting because, I have some friends that are family law attorneys, as we've discussed before. And I learned a quote recently that said, criminals are, criminal law, when you're an attorney for criminal law, you're handling people, the worst people that are on their best behavior. When you do family law, it's the nicest people on their worst behavior, because family divorce brings out the worst in people, especially when there's children involved, and we're not even just talking about celebrities. We're just talking about regular folks,
Well, it's children, it's egos, it's emotions,
it's finances,
finance. Yeah, there's so much involved. And that's why, my marriage was very simple. The divorce was very simple, but it was just so emotionally awful. You hurt someone else, and obviously they hurt you, or you wouldn't be leaving them, and it hurts. It's just emotionally exhausting. And so for me, I was always like really not willing to get married again unless I was sure of it. And so it never
You
happened.
know who I like, and I always laugh. I think, why does she get married so much? Is Jennifer Lopez. I'm always like, I think she's a hopeless romantic.
Well, okay, so this is kind of gossip. And
Gossip?
again, we're not claiming to be experts on any of this. And, sometimes what you read is not true.
Right.
So, please feel free to comment and let us know if we get anything wrong. But I heard, she's been engaged to Alex Rodriguez, and I heard that she called off the marriage.
Yeah, I read that too. I wasn't sure though.
Yeah, there were rumors of him cheating or something like that. And then
Mm.
same with Ben Affleck. Supposedly he had gone to a strip club and
Right.
a stripper dance farm or something, and she called that off. And so but she's she's stunning and talented, and she'll find someone
If I
else.
was in that position, what I might do if I was the type of person that really liked getting married and was a hopeless romantic, maybe do it quietly and then announce, hey, I got, instead of like, I'm engaged. They make a big deal out of it. And then it's always like a big deal when they break up. Yeah. So it's like, maybe get married first and then announce it.
I think that's part of it though, that that's why you get married. You want to tell everyone.
Announce to the world.
Not like Tom Cruise jumping on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in love. Yay. I want everyone to know. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I just feel like you're caught up at that moment. If you're that excited about something, you're caught up in the romance of it, that you're not really seeing reality always.
That's true. God love them that they're such hopeless romantics. Gosh.
Yeah. Speaking of Jennifer Lopez, so her second husband, I think it was Chris Judd, was the nicest guy. I used to wait on him at a bar in Hollywood, and it was right after they got divorced. And he, came up to the bar. He introduced himself to me, and he always came to me for drinks. And he was the nicest guy. I could totally see why she fell for him. Class act. Really nice guy, really gentleman.
She probably felt safe too. I think, wasn't he in her he was a dancer for her, right?
I think he was one of her dancers.
Yeah. I was going to say he was in her small group of dancers, but when you're a performer like that and you're always touring and you're, working all the time, it is nice to have a lot of singer dancers, start dating their dancers, like Britney Spears we were talking about earlier with the guy that was in her music video. But it's because you're so busy, and you just start dating the person that's in your little group,
Yeah. Well, that's really most of the time what happens to all of us. That's why a lot of times you meet people at work. You meet your spouse, your partner at work, and that's what they do. That's what happens. That's why a lot of celebrities marry celebrities, because they work together, they have chemistry, and that's who in your circle. Yeah.
Right.
I think that happens a lot. So
any other interesting marriages?
Well, I also, we were talking about musicians and their marriages. Pam Anderson's the first one that popped up because she's been married so many times, and I really like her a lot because of her work with animals and human rights.
And she's really smart too. She's not a dumb blonde, that's for sure.
She's and she's fighting for Julian Assange right now. So I really, really like her for those reasons. So she's the first one that came up. And then Heather Locklear is someone that I always really...
Me too. I like Heather. We used to go to the same...
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. We used to go to the same hair salon years ago, and I met her at the hair salon, and she's just so nice, so sweet. She just genuinely always was like really sweet and nice, and would smile all the time. And you could tell she was like a real person,
And she just had a glowing personality when we saw her on the talk shows. And the guy that I dated, Bob, that I've mentioned before, he and I hung out with her and Tommy. He was friends with her and Tommy, and we hung out on one of their Motley Crue's music videos one night, and had a good time with her and him. And he was so in love with her. I just remember him, Heather, everything was, Heather, look at this, Heather, look at that. He was so in love with her. It's a shame that, he was not a good mate for her. But anyway, so he was her first guy. And then she was with Richie Sambora. And then, she's faced some mental issues in recent years too. And, we can only guess why. I really think that rock star lifestyle is not really a healthy lifestyle. I mean, there are some of them that are really good guys that, are loyal and good to their women.
Once in a while, yeah.
in general, Tommy Lee, and it seems like Richie was good
Sambora.
for a long time, but for
He
whatever.
seems to be a very good dad from what I've read about Richie Sambora, because their
Yeah.
daughter Ava came out really, I follow Heather on Instagram, and her daughter is so sweet, and she just graduated from Loyola Marymount, and she had a big party for her, and she was so proud of her daughter, and I think Richie really stepped in when Heather wasn't doing very well.
Yeah.
But maybe he wasn't the best husband material. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but he seems to be a very good father.
Well, I think it's a typical marriage. They were married for a long time, and then whatever rumor, I don't want to add to the rumor, but supposedly someone was texting him lewd pictures. And Heather found them, and anyway, so that blew the marriage up. But who knows if that's really the truth?
Yeah.
And who knows, at that point she might have just been over him and like, whatever, Richie, do whatever you want.
That's
which
true.
happens in a lot of marriages.
That's true.
Lose interest in your spouse because you're just tired of them. You're not keeping the romance alive. So it's, a lot of times a two-way street.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, she's supposedly doing well now, and with a high school.
Yeah, dating some guy from high school, but I do sincerely wish her well, because like I said, my hairdresser used to cut her hair, and he'd always tell me how sweet she was, and she's from, I think, Westlake Village or something. She's just, a regular gal.
Yeah, she was someone that I always really I loved watching her in her shows, whatever what was that one, Dallas or Dynasty or something she was in?
I think she was on a show called Dynasty, and then wasn't she on Melrose Place? Was she on that one too?
Yeah, Melrose Place. Oh, and that was kind of neat when it's neat but sad that they broke up, when she was with Jack Wagner. She was with him for right, I think after she and Richie broke up, she was with Jack Wagner, and they were a couple on Melrose Place, so everybody was rooting for them. But she started, losing it on him. And like we've said before, relationships are a two-way street. Maybe he was mentally abusive or doing something that brought it out of her. It's, not a healthy relationship.
Sure.
So.
Might have been what they call a little bit toxic.
Yes, I would say very much so. And then another one that came up was Cher. And
Cher. I love Cher.
We both had the impression that she'd been married several times, or a lot of times, but she's only been married twice.
Well, that's right, because she's a Taurus like me. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I know she was married to Sonny, and then who else was she married?
Greg Allman.
That's right, Greg Allman.
But
it's weird because she always talks about Sonny. Like, I think Greg Allman was maybe the love of her life. She always talks about him so, like, but he just was into drugs, and he's spiraled. But Sonny, I think she always will have that thing in her heart, because he she always says without Sonny there would have been no Cher. He kind of like
well, I love it when you've had a relationship with someone and you walk away. You may be angry at the time, but you can look back and forgive them. Like my ex-husband, I've mentioned him before. When I got really sick after getting the flu shot, I looked him up. I found him, and he was so surprised to hear from me and very happy. And he sent me a book and wanted to come and visit me and everything. And I was like, he was like, I thought you hated me all these years. I thought you hate me. And I'm like, no, I remember all the good times we had. And yes, leaving was messy, but you were there for me at times when I really needed someone. I appreciated all the fun that we had and all the times that we, shared good moments.
And that's the way it should be, that, you remembered him.
With Cher, she was able to do that. With Sonny, she was able to put the past in the past, look at the good. And I actually read the love of her life.
Oh, Rob Camballetti.
Greg Allman.
Oh.
But she also said really Robert Camballetti was, the true love of her life.
That's
and
true.
I think because he's
protected.
He's just one of those guys that makes you feel very special, like the C parts when you walk in the room, if he's smitten with you. he just makes you feel really taken care of and special. And he and I were a team. We bartended in all the Hollywood nightclubs for years, a bunch of different ones, and he and I worked together a lot. And he just, he was I always felt protected when he was around. I always felt like nobody's going to mess with me. Rob's got my back.
Oh, that's reminding me of this thing I read about with Jennifer Gardner, where she was talking about Garner, sorry, where she was talking about Ben Affleck, who I think is just so cute. I love Ben Affleck, and he's so smart. I really like him a lot. I like him in theory, but I know he's had some, problems, but I think he's a really cool guy. Like I saw him on Bill Maher, and there was a video clip of him really defending. He really, was defending the prejudice against the Muslims in this particular clip, that, and I find he's so passionate, and he seems so, what's the word, like honest and caring. He really cares about certain causes without thinking, is this going to make me look good? Or, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, and Jennifer Garner has really stood by him. So there's got to be some good qualities there, because, I'm sure he put her through a lot too, especially the alcoholism and everything. And that, what comes with that. But she has stood, he's the father of her children. So of course she's going to want the best for him also. But she really, even from what I've read, what I gather, she's in another relationship, but she's still, and I think she should. It's great when you can walk away and stay friends and wish them well in their next relationship. Like another couple, Demi Moore and Bruce Willis.
Oh, right.
Willis is married, but Demi Moore is part of their family. And I love that.
I think Bruce Willis is so has got to be one of the most fun people to hang out with. He just seems so cool. And what's the word? I saw him on a roast where she came and roasted him, and it was a good roast, and she really got him on a couple things, and he was just laughing, and he seems so proud of her, like with her book and everything, And so that's a real mature, secure guy who, once you've broken up, and then they can say like, wow, she's a real special person. And I want to wish her well,
And to be able to own up to your own mistakes in the relationship and to admit and go, you know what? Because I think she was a little critical of him in her book, and even for him to still support it, and they probably apologized to each other, and I think that's I think it's a good feeling.
Well, he was like this huge movie star, so I'm sure it was challenging in a lot of ways. Well, that's true too. Yeah, they were both at the same time.
Power couple.
So it must have been a challenging, really. I think she stepped back a little bit to help take care of the kids more when they were both at their, peak. So,
but which happens a lot too. That happens. And then of course she had the relationship with Ashton Kutcher and the, divorce, and I feel for her, to have, all that stuff that came out in the book that she had been through as a kid. And I can't imagine.
I know.
Poor thing. And then, falling in love with someone much younger and gorgeous and probably not mature at the level of maturity that he needed to be to maintain a long-term relationship like that. I wish, they could have parted and been friends.
I know.
And
that's kind of
sad.
sad.
A little more sympathetic to her right now, because he did some wrong things. He needs to own up to it and apologize and support her.
He seems like he gets a little defensive, like whenever anyone says anything, he kind of like puts little digs, instead of, that's what I mean about like Bruce Willis. He's so like, he'll laugh and go, hey, he'll own it, and he'll be like,
well, I guess Ashton Kutcher supposedly, he went off on a retreat by himself when they were first separating. He went, I don't know, somewhere by himself in the mountains or something, and reflected on things. And you would think he would come back and have learned, hey, you know what? I did some bad things in this relationship. I really hurt someone that I professed to love for life. So I need to own up to it. And I'm disappointed in the way he's behaved towards her and not been more
I know, because I think he's a really good guy in a lot of ways. He really stands up for these really good causes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
The trafficking, the trafficking of young girls. He's testified before Congress about that, and
things are like, he's got moral integrity about a lot of things that he goes out of his way to do, but he's just in regards to his personal life, and I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm only looking at on the outside. I just don't think he was very good to Demi Moore, you know?
Well, it also could be some people are so horrified when they've hurt someone so badly that it's so horrifying they almost can't face it. And it could be, hopefully in time he will be able to face it and accept responsibility. And I mean, it's a two-way street.
Sure.
I mean, because somebody cheats on you doesn't mean you have to go off the deep end either. There's a little bit of her responsibility in it, and I think she's taken responsibility. She's admitted what happened, and she lost herself supposedly, but I've heard interviews of her saying these things, that she felt like she lost herself. And I think you get some young hot guy and you are trying to keep him and trying to party and keep up with him. And
didn't she go back into like some kind of drug abuse stuff, right?
Drugs and she started drinking again. She was an alcoholic. And she says that he had said, what could a couple drinks hurt or something like that. He was encouraging her. Well, he was a young guy wanting to be with somebody that's going to have a few cocktails. Sure. And so she started doing that and then drinking again. Then he shamed her. There's a picture of her over the toilet in her underwear. Aww. With a very nice rear.
I might add.
I think I'd be showing it. Look, that's me.
I know, right? Like,
I know
my
bum I'm vomiting and I'm a mess, but look at my butt.
If my bum looked that good, I'd say, throw it away.
But he was shaming her and saying, oh, look, so he kind of encouraged her to drink again. And then when she starts over drinking, he starts shaming her. And
sure.
He was a young kid though, he didn't know how to handle things either. So I don't mean to beat him up so much. I just wish that he would accept responsibility and be a little bit more apologetic.
Because he seems so classy in a lot of ways. This is the one thing that I didn't find him to be as chivalrous about, is this particular. And he's got a great wife now with kids. He should be more what's the word, magnanimous.
Well,
what's the word?
And I would think she would encourage him also to be
That's
a little
true.
more apologetic and understanding as a woman. But they're young, and hopefully in time they will give thought to it and be a little more mature in the way they handle it. So we were talking about Britney Spears earlier. Supposedly Justin Timberlake, who has been humbled, hopefully, with his shenanigans with his wife, what's her name, Jessica Biel. Yeah, the most beautiful woman. And he's been humbled, and she has forgiven him. And so hopefully, he's learning some lessons, and he's been apologetic to
I love Justin Timberlake. I just think he's so cute and talented, and he's a dancer, and I like him a lot. But it was funny because he was with Cameron Diaz, and I always wondered what happened to that relation. They never got married, but I always wondered what happened with those two.
Well, how
they had fun.
They had fun.
Right.
Probably just ran its course.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's apologized supposedly in a roundabout way to Britney Spears for the things that he said on camera when she was a young girl. I thought that was piggish. It made me really not like him. I don't care for him.
I didn't know what he said.
He said on, I think it was a Barbara Walters special, and he said that she had had oral sex, and she was a virgin and claiming to be a virgin, and he insinuated it, and it was just very piggish. So I thought that was,
I didn't know that.
I never liked him after that. I really have never cared for him because of that.
Well, maybe was he young? Was he kind of young when he said it, or maybe he was just being immature?
Yeah, but hopefully he, like I was saying, he has matured now and apologized in a roundabout way, apologized about what happened with Janet Jackson ripping her top off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too.
I think that was probably more a mistake.
Yeah.
I think he was a young guy who was full of himself, and he needed to take down a peg or two, and hopefully he has in marriage, and he should treat
now that he has at least one kid.
Yeah.
I know. So maybe he's more, sometimes parenthood makes you more, sometimes it makes you more mature.
Yeah.
So one would hope.
I'm not very forgiving of guys that don't treat their women well, though. I mean, I just not.
I mean, you have a point, because sometimes it's something that's sort of a pattern, and hopefully hopefully he's gotten better, more mature.
Yeah. Well, it's not a reflection on the woman. I remember one time I dated a guy and somebody said, he's a cheater. And I was like, well, then he'll lose me. I mean, that's really how I'm like, okay, I like him. I'm going to date him until he messes up. And then when he messes up, he'll lose me and that'll be his problem. I wasn't scared of it, but I wasn't also going to put up with it, if it happened. So we broke up before it had a chance to happen. But
before you had a chance to catch him in anything.
Yeah, that I know of. But yeah, I mean, you just, you have to you follow your heart, I guess. You don't have to. But most people are going to. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good point that kind of, to sort of segue into like, that's what these people are doing. They're following their heart. I'm just always surprised because it's so hard to get a divorce. And when you're talking about a lot of assets involved and whatever, you would think people would, take a breath and go, like I said, 2 times is good. 3 starting to get a little bit much.
Yeah. You got to start thinking, well, and now they're saying a prenuptial agreement, and I agree with this, should always exist. So you already know this, but a lot of people don't. I teach a personal growth course called Find Your Excellence. And there's a part about it, a section dealing with relationships. And there is a prenuptial agreement or a partnership agreement. It doesn't even have to be for marriage, but it covers everything from, which family are you going to spend holidays with? It just ways to sit down at the beginning of the relationship.
That's good. That's smart.
Renegotiate, who's going to do the housework, who's going to do this, how much, what percentage of income are each expected to contribute. And then let's say one person loses their job, you renegotiate and you work through it. But which, it sounds a little cold-hearted, but that's what relationships are.
No,
they're negotiating.
But I think that's smart though, because I've been in relationship, not personal, like with a love interest, but I've been in other kinds of relationships like that, where the person said, here's the contract. And I remember first thinking, wow, this seems so cold. But in the end, I was so happy because you guys established your ground rules. And so then there was never a question. You get that out of the way and then you can.
Well, you share each other's expectations. This is what I expect. This is what I expect of you. And then, you can negotiate right then. And then as things change and morph, you can renegotiate. If you're dealing with a mature person who can put their ego aside, you should be able to always negotiate. But it's when the ego gets involved that things sometimes get messy.
Often.
And that happens. That happens a lot. But you'll find out in the very beginning if you're starting to,
that's true. Good point.
That's when you're going to find out.
If you could just get things, get that all the little messy stuff out of the way in the beginning, then you guys can just relax. And then also, the level of commitment too, between the 2 people.
Yep.
So.
Agreed. So we also had some, there's another one I have listed here. So Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton are not married yet, but they are planning on it. It was, really neat to see them because they both had relationships fall apart at the same time, and relationships do. Not a reflection on the ones, but so Gwen was with Gavin Rossdale and Blake was with Miranda Lambert, and now they've moved on and are with other people, and now Gwen and Blake found each other on The Voice.
I know. And they always joke that, there's been a couple comedians that say those 2 need to keep it together because it's showing such a divert, the country part of the states and the city part of the states,
Well, did you see the video? So she did a video with Adam Levine. Did you?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So cute. If anybody's watching, go look it up. Adam Levine and Gwen Stefani, because it's really cute. It's really funny about how she's telling Adam Levine what she's looking for in a man.
Right.
And it's nothing like Blake Shelton. And then he walks in and it's really cute. Yeah, you got to look that up.
I know, because I've had friends ask me that, like, they just seem like a different kind of couple. But I'm like, well, maybe 2 things. He's so different from Gavin, who really, kind of hurt her. And also he just seems so loyal and loving. And he's like this big, he's so tall that she probably rules.
How about this? He's so sexy. And almost like that Vince Vaughn kind of dangerous, and funny, and
that's true. That's true.
I don't know. I'd have no problem falling for him.
Well, to me, he's like this big old tree that you could, in a good way, you could just hug.
Yeah. 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 I don't know who could resist him.
Well, sometimes I think guys are jealous, so they say that.
Yeah.
They make fun of him,
Yeah. So I think they're a good couple. So yeah, I wish them well. And then, so the long timers, we were also talking about people who stayed together for a long time. And I found a couple of them. So Alice Cooper has been with his wife
that's
forever.
right.
And,
Yeah.
through the industry, I know nothing about him or don't know anyone, but everything I've heard and read is he's just the nicest guy.
I told you I worked on a commercial with him, and he was telling me about his
Okay, yeah.
daughter, and he just seemed like a really nice, normal guy, and he's smart, So
Mhm.
that's cool. I'm glad to hear that
Yeah,
he's been with his wife for a long
with
time.
his wife all the time. And then Faith Hill and Tim McGraw
That's true.
been together
Mhm.
for forever. And this couple, I don't know how they made it, but they're still together. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne.
Oh my gosh, that is just like unbelievable. I think it's her though. Gosh, it's got to be her,
Yeah,
to
she's
put up with.
the glue, and she keeps him. Well, she keeps him on track. It seems like he would have really already gone off the deep end without her.
Right.
So probably a
Yeah, she needs the award.
yeah, she gets the award, best wife. And then I thought this was funny. So I was, just Googling long-term celebrity marriages, and I found Bono and his wife, and his wife
really?
is Allie. Her name's Allie Hewson,
Mhm.
Hewson.
Mhm.
But what was interesting to me there is his name is Paul Hewson. I've never known Bono's name.
Yeah, I knew his last name was Houston, but they
Know
call
that.
Bono because Bono is Latin for voice, and it was
Okay.
his nickname, I guess, in high
Okay.
school or something.
That's a pretty cool name, and that's all I ever knew him as. So anyway, I was just kind of like, oh, that's his real name.
At
Interesting.
least that's what I read. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't know his real name was Paul though.
Yeah, Paul. Now I look at him a little bit differently.
It's Paul.
Yeah, it's Paul and the U2. John Bon Jovi and his wife have been together for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorothea.
And then Sting and Trudy Styler.
That's true. So there are some good musician loyal guys.
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen. So he had married, what was her name? Juliet.
She was an actress,
Or
right?
something. She was on Three's Company, I think.
Was she?
I think. Don't quote me on that.
She was on Three's Company.
But he was married to her for a year or two, and then he married the girl that was in his band, Patty
Schiaffi. I think that's how you're saying last name. Schiaffi,
okay.
Something like that.
Schiaffi. Okay. And I recently saw like a documentary or something on their life and their family life, and they seem like they really are happy. It's just funny how you have to find your match. You have to find that person who, and it's not about looks. It's not about, money or what you do. It's just that chemical thing and that personality thing that clicks, that you're willing to stick.
And I think also that is definitely, but also if you guys have good same long-term kind of goals and how you see your life going.
Compatibility.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of couples that stayed together just because of that, because of compatibility. Yeah. Oh, but you want to hear something sad? Yeah. My friend was telling me that since COVID happened, divorces have gone up like almost 40%, because most people, once they stay, once they've been in that house with them for that long, right? They're like, yeah, I can't take you
I
anymore.
I really don't like you. Get out of here.
It's the way they chew their food,
Oh, that's funny.
I know.
It's not funny, but it's
kind of true. I mean, you could see it.
I can see it. Yeah, I can totally see it happening because I've been in a couple of relationships that I'm like, oh, if I had to be around you all the time.
I know. That's why. I mean, that God bless the couple that can. I do know this other couple friend of mine that she's with her husband all the time. She stays at home. He works at home, and through COVID, they've been together all the time. And she was telling me, yeah, and we're going to go traveling on a boat. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, they're like together like 24/7.
Isn't that great though? If you could find that, like if you could find your best friend that you could be with all the time,
right?
That'd be great.
I know that's so rare though. I think one person is usually more sacrificing than the other, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, usually I would say, yeah.
So I got to find the person.
You've had some pretty long-term relationships too, and you managed to.
I always say I'm a serial monogamist,
Yeah.
Hold it together. That's the psychological term.
I got through it.
Well, because I'm a what's the word? I'm a monogamous person and I'm very loyal. It's just that,
Mhm.
sometimes,
There's an end to every book, right?
yeah, there's sometimes there's an end game there that I've come to
Yeah.
the realization.
That it's the end. This is the end of the
This
story.
is the end. Yeah. But but I don't like, I am a monogamist. Is that the right word? Yeah, monogamist.
Oh, I am too. Yeah, I am too. I prefer to have one
One
person
person.
in
Yeah.
my life. I'm
Right.
too busy to have even sometimes more than one. My last boyfriend used to get so mad at me because he's like, "You work all the time. You're working. You stop." And I could never even just sit and watch a movie with him because I'd be doing something while we're watching
Yeah,
TV or
that brings,
whatever.
there's some relationship person that I know that was, that she does, she finds people for other people. We had her on our show, actually, Gina.
Right, right.
And she was saying, that women, I don't know what this says about men and women, but that like guys, we're always so busy, and that guys are always like, I don't care how busy you are. They think, because a lot of women think that makes them look more attractive to the guy. I'm so busy, and they just want somebody that they can, hang out
Spend
with.
time
And
with. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they want your time, but if you're trying to fit a lot in your life at the same
right.
time, sometimes you just have to have the right person.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, you've got to be
Yeah.
your match. It's got to, and my friend Victor, who I always talk about, he says in every relationship, there's a diamond and a setting. And one
Oh,
person wants to be the setting. So it doesn't work if both want to be the diamonds. But then,
okay.
sometimes one person's the setting, and one time, you can maybe change. It doesn't always have to be the same
Switch it
person.
up.
There might be times when one person's more the star of the relationship.
Yeah.
So if your ego can handle it, you're not always the
Right.
star.
Yeah, and I think people get into relationships looking for different things. Sometimes somebody just wants someone. I've seen,
That's true.
quite a few relationships where somebody got really badly hurt by someone they really loved.
That's
So they
true.
just settled. The next person, they
That's
just, it's
true.
like, okay, you're good enough.
You've
And
got
they,
a pulse,
you'll never, well, you would never leave me. It makes them really
right.
insecure. It's like, well, you
That's
would
true.
never leave me. So I'll stick with you. And hey, and it makes them feel secure, and then they're happy, happy in their way. So there's
What
different
cracks me up,
reasons.
uh, and maybe there's women, I think there's women like this too, but I know a lot of guys that are like this. It's like they can't be alone. They're always, they have, as soon as they break up with someone, boom, they're on to the next one.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just need that break though, to like find out who you are. I mean, it's lucky if you find someone again right away, I guess, but it's some men just cannot be alone. And again, some women are probably like that
Yeah.
too, but it's just always interesting to me. Like, can't you just take like, 6 months off?
Well, it's like I always say, we're all so different, and what we want in life is different, and that's okay. That's why, what I like about being in this country is that we can live these different kinds of lifestyles. You
That's
don't have
true.
to just,
Good
there
point.
was a time when it was expected that you got married, man and woman, have 2 kids, you got your white picket fence, and that was the cookie cutter lifestyle. And
Hmm.
now it's become more acceptable to stay single and venture off to leave your hometown, explore the world, explore different careers. It used to be also you started a career, or you got out of school, and that's what you did your whole life. And now
That's
people
true.
have
Yeah.
multiple careers in their lifetime. And I think it just makes for a much more interesting life. But then there's some people that they do that old time cookie cutter lifestyle, and that's what makes them happy. And I think that's okay too.
Well,
I,
because I think they feel secure, it's a certain security for them.
well, everything's a trade-off. Like there's some people that would look at my life and go, "Oh my God, that's like awful. That poor woman." And to me, I've had the most exciting, fun, interesting life. I've had so many awful things and challenges and crazy things, but oh my gosh, I've had such a great, fun life. And then other people, I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, I could never be with that guy my whole life. I could
I
never
know.
like
I
live
know.
in that same little town and do that. It would just drive me nuts. But they can't. That's for them, and my life's for me, and your life's for you. And I think I hope that we nourish a society that allows us all to grow and flourish, to be our best in the way that we
And I
really
think
want to be.
America's kind of unique in that way, but I'm sure there's other countries too. But the cool thing about that's one, everybody bags on America lately, deservedly so. But I think one of the cool things about America is we're so diverse, and we do have that freedom, which sometimes, people take it too far. Like, I'm not going to go along with what you say, because I want my freedom. But we have freedom of choice for the most part, a lot of times. Yeah. And we're allowed to lead these diverse lives that a lot of people, you won't be judged as much as if you were from, and then some states are better than others. Like California is definitely like that. It's, you always joke, it's like the land of the fruit and the nuts, because,
yeah.
Or
like, I call Wyoming the land that time forgot, because it's so conservative and backwards, and
right.
idea of the way to live. But like I was telling someone one day, I've been here 5 years, and when I go to vote, there are certain things that I don't vote the way I would vote. I ask someone who's a native, explain this to me, what is the good and the bad, and what would you want? Because I don't know that I'll stay here and retire here. And I want these people that live here to live the lifestyle that they want to live. That's what I like about having the different states too. I do think that we should have states rights.
I didn't think about that.
People should be able to live the way they want to live. And in California, it attracts a wide variety of diversity, and you have more freedom, and you're not judged. And there's the gig economy, which doesn't exist here.
Yeah. And you can reinvent yourself a lot in California, which we like, so yeah, you're right. That's a good point. And
to some people that would be horrifying. Like, that would just be horrifying to go to a big city and have to deal with the traffic and the competition and the judgment or not judgments, just freedom. And to them, it's just craziness. They wouldn't like that. So that's okay too.
So on that happy note, I was going to say, so these people that have these multiple marriages, I am very happy for your freedom of choice, right?
Good luck to you. I have a couple more though that I wanted to list that were long-term marriages. So another one, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick.
Oh yeah. That's definitely
been together forever.
You're right.
Julia Roberts and Danny Moder. So even though he was married when they met, that was not very good, but now they've been together for a long time.
That's true.
Pierce Brosnan and Kellie Smith.
I love Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
He is he looks like a saint to me, that guy. Not because,
he was so in love with his first wife, and the only reason he isn't with her is because she died of cancer.
I know. And I just thought of another guy, Hugh Jackman, and he's been with his wife for a long time.
He and his
but yeah, Pierce Brosnan, he's just a class act from what I can see, right? Handsome. He could get anybody he wants, but seems to be very loyal and faithful to his wife.
Yeah. He's definitely what do you call it? A monogamous, serial
monogamist.
Yes.
Well, I would just call him a monogamist.
Or a dual monogamist.
Yeah, dual. He's had it twice.
He's had two.
Yeah, but he just seems like a classy guy. I don't know how to. I can't think of another word for it. But
the accent, the tall, dark, and handsome looks, the beautiful wife, and because Kellie Smith is a beauty too, and she has stuck by him all those years too. So yeah, they're happy for them, and they have two gorgeous sons.
Really? I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
Well, how could they be not gorgeous?
I think they're both models. Yeah.
Really?
Good looking. And then Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
they had COVID together. They were
somewhere
in Australia or somewhere, Hawaii. I can't remember, but
Australia. They were Australia.
And they got quarantined with COVID. So they survived that, and they've been together, a very long time. And Tom Hanks is just a delight.
He's a funny guy.
And I'm sure Rita is, she's not in the spotlight as much. So
yeah, but she's talented too. And he lets her not lets her, but he encourages her to do her stuff. And they seem to make it work,
Yeah, they seem like a solid couple.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is Denzel Washington and his wife Pauletta.
Oh yeah, they've been together a long time.
They've been together a very long time too. And Denzel Washington seems like a very cool guy
I like Denzel. I think he's really talented. A couple of movies, obviously, but I think I like his acting. I've seen him in a couple things, and we have a mutual place where we get our mail. And his company anyway. So I've heard nothing but good things about him. So that's a little inside scoop.
Well, needless to say, he's just a brilliant actor. I
Yeah.
could watch him forever.
That's
There was
true.
a movie he did, and it wasn't real popular, but he did this movie, and I was like, oh, why wasn't this a bigger movie? Ryan Gosling's wife or girlfriend was in it.
That's right.
Out of Time, was that it? I don't know. Anyway, it was a really good movie, and I was like, oh, he's hot.
He's always good. Every movie.
This woman, and I was like, whoa, Denzel.
So he's always good. He's an excellent actor.
He's got charisma, I guess, is what
That's
I'm
true.
trying to say. He's got just this thing about him, very charismatic. So anyway, happiness to he and his wife. And that's all I got. That's my little list of people.
So we kind of started off with the multiple marriages and ended it with the long term. I like that,
Yeah.
Because not all Hollywood marriages are like that. I just always find it amusing. Like I said, I'll say it again after the third time. You're like, really? Do you really need to, feel the need to get married? But they do.
Yeah, I know you always say that. It's like, I guess for both of us, we can't really understand because obviously we've both had many opportunities to be married many times.
Multiple marriages.
Yes. And just, even though I had the one, and I don't regret it. I don't, he was a good match for me, actually. If we hadn't been so immature at the time, I think he probably was my match, but we were both really immature.
And I always say it's good to not get married too young, but I've had.
I thought you were going to say too many times.
No, I'm too young. But I have a friend that got married young, and she's still with her husband, and I'm always like, wow, that amazes me that they've been together like 15 years, and they got married pretty young. And I'm always like, wow, sometimes it works,
But that's what I mean, how it's different for some people. I've seen people, they marry their high school sweetheart and they stay together their whole lives, because there's also something to be said for just wanting to have that one person by your side your whole life. True. and not having that interest in having other experiences.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Attracted to other people.
That's a good point. Yeah. Cause I think, I won't say who they are, but I know they were both, never with someone before. So I was like, wow, that's just amazing in this day and age, And
sometimes if that's all then you don't like, the older you get set in your ways, and but when you're young and that's all you grow together. Sometimes you grow apart, but sometimes you grow together and you become one. You do become one, which is what marriage was intended to be, I guess, in the biblical way. Just grow and become one. But nowadays, to each his own. Have relationships, and you want to get married, but for me, the divorce is the bad part. It's the pain of the divorce and getting out of it. And
it's that contract. Well, on that happy note, we will say, we'll say, no, we like having freedom of choice. Married, no married.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah. Get married as many times as you want.
Yeah.
Remember,
it's your money. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. And your heart.
Oh, that's true. In your heart. That's the hard part, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.